Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another market breakdown. It is Tuesday, November 18. Yeah, Tuesday, November 18. Let's get right into it. First of all, NZD/USD, quick little update slash recap. We're still um, we're still pushing down. So daily time frame yesterday closed with a bearish candle. It was not a bearish engulfing candle, but it was a bearish candle nevertheless. And more importantly than that, we broke through this trend line and we are currently trading underneath it. 4 hour time frame has shifted bearish. We were bullish from right here upwards, and then we actually closed below this area. So we've created the lower low, and we're currently creating the lower high for the next lower low. So price can realistically make it all the way back to this structure point without going bullish. So we're probably just creating a head and shoulders pattern, shoulder, head, shoulder, and then, break, retest, continuation. In fact, this is exactly what we have marked up for this pair with this. So we broke through, we're retesting, and then we should have more bearish movement that follows. After that, we have some of these other pairs. Bitcoin, geez, Bitcoin broke 90K. It is not stopping. Yeah, I don't know how Bitcoin's going to continue, but as long as we maintain price action at the very minimum underneath the 4 hour EMA, we're probably going to keep selling. We might have a pullback, we might have a shift of structure, then react from the 4 hour EMA and continue to sell. So we're currently underneath all three major EMAs. We're currently bearish on all three major time frames. There's nothing more to be said. Bitcoin's bearish right now. SPX, well, we did not have the reaction we anticipated. In fact, all of these pairs have had quite a bit of selling that has happened. Interesting. So we're currently retesting this daily EMA. However, we've already retested it twice, and I don't think that we're actually gonna react from it. Like at this point, I think we're gonna break through it, retest it to sell. We've broken through our area of interest, right? We're currently, well, we closed below the area of interest. We closed below the EMA. So at this current moment, our weekly time frame is currently bullish. And that's undeniable. Daily time frame is bearish, and 4 hour time frame is bearish as well. So now we have two bearish time frames. We might be selling. We might be selling on SPX. What I'm thinking is retest previous structure, area of interest to sell. Same thing with these other ones. Daily time frame went bearish. So we never got our break and retest to buy. 4 hour time frame is currently also bearish. So we are bearish from right here down to here. We've had a pullback. We're probably going to create the next lower low pretty soon on the 4 hour time frame. Underneath the daily EMA, underneath the 4 hour EMA, still above the weekly, but we're probably in fact that might be where we're headed, is towards the weekly EMA. But the weekly time frame is still bullish, so anything can happen there. But as of right now, I think that we have this little area right here, which we might break through, retest to sell temporarily. US 30, same exact thing. We are bearish on the 4 hour. We are bearish on the daily. See how all three of them shifted at the same time. And pullback into daily previous structure to sell. Okay, that's it for those pairs. Next we have gold. Gold has made a daily / weekly pullback. Yesterday we closed with a bearish candle. Today we opened pressed downwards, retested a lot of this stuff down here, and we're having a pullback. Now, we are still below the 2-hour and 4-hour EMAs, so we could still see more selling happening. However, in terms of the daily candle, it does seem like we might be going to create a top wick, more of a top wick, or actually have the reaction from this daily structure point, which would be nice to see. So what I would look for is basically a break and retest above this area, 30-minute, 15-minute, whatever like really looks like it's holding price at the moment. I would say like the 15-minute time frame EMA is what's holding price. So basically, if price can maintain above the 15-minute EMA, we'll probably keep buying. If we shift back below retest, we'll probably just continue to sell. DXY, weekly time frame, bearish, daily time frame, bullish, having a reaction from that daily EMA, but we've pulled back into the daily area of interest. And we are currently retesting the 4-hour EMA. So at this point, we're still kind of waiting for price to tell us exactly what's going to happen. 4-hour time frame is currently still bullish. 4-hour time frame is still bullish. Daily time frame is still bullish. Yeah, I would wait for a proper break and retest above this EMA. Like if we react to the upside and then pull back at that point, then we can look for buys. Because right now we could still react to the downside. And here, same exact thing. Either wait for a shift of structure, which would probably take a while. Just wait for indication that price is actually going to sell and then pull back to sell. Similar to this right here, we had a pullback. We were above the EMA. Then price showed us where it wanted to go. We waited for the pullback and then price actually sold. So same thing right there. Moving on. Moving on to the Forex pairs, starting with NZD/USD, which we just went over. Here, there's nothing we can do. We're just waiting for price to have the continuation to the downside. Wait for those buyers to exhaust themselves. We have already created a daily top wick, and I think that was the issue when the day opened. Right here, we pushed up a little bit and then we sold very aggressively. Right now, I think we're filling in this empty space. This empty space that was left, you could call this, you can call it an order block, you can call it inefficiency, you can call it a fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. Price is filling it in so that we can trade more consistently to the downside, right? And that's basically what I think is going to happen there. In terms of confluences, at the moment, we now have an extra confluence, which is the daily candlestick rejection. 4-hour doesn't change much. But on this one, we have the 4-hour EMA and confluence. We don't have the 30-minute EMA. But if price was to sell pretty aggressively, retest to sell, at this point, you would have your 30-minute EMA, and you could even get your 30-minute shift of structure. So instantly, like if you're looking for an entry on this pair, if you missed it, just wait for that price to shift back underneath the 30-minute EMA or underneath, back underneath the 1 hour EMA with a nice bearish engulfing candle. And at that point, you could probably enter the trade and you'd be in a better position. In fact, I'll consider, actually, I'm not going to do that right just yet, but I was going to say I'll consider even entering the trade again. It's not that I got wicked out, but like entering another position on the move to see if we can capitalize even more off of that. Next is USD CAD. USD CAD is currently having a very aggressive pullback. 4 hour time frame. So here, daily time frame, we have a nice push to the upside, bullish engulfing. 4 hour time frame, we had a push pullback. At this point, our daily structure point is right here. So if we close in the next 48 minutes, our 4 hour time frame will go bearish. So realistically, this candle needs to have a reaction to the upside. I do think that we're just having a retest of the structure points. You have your shoulder, head, shoulder, pullback, retest to the neckline, continuation. So that's what I think about USD CAD, Euro CAD, very similar. So here the weekly time frame is bearish, daily time frame is bullish. We were retesting these structures. We were retesting previous structure and neckline. We had this candlestick rejection of that area on the daily time frame. 4 hour time frame had the reaction to the upside, and we retested these wicks down here as well for that reaction to happen. Now, 4 hour time frame is still bullish, daily time frame is still bullish, so this trade is technically still valid. In fact, I could see it doing something along these lines right here, where we had this pullback, and then we had a strong reaction, then we had a secondary pullback, and then we finally had the move. So this could be that secondary pullback in order to have the rest of the move. All right. GBP CAD. GBP CAD daily time frame is doing quite a lot, but it's also doing quite a lot of nothing. We're currently trading underneath this daily EMA. So since we're moving sideways, I think we might be waiting for the daily EMA to catch up to price. 4 hour time frame is currently still bullish. So we had a push up. Now we're having a pullback and a much deeper pullback than we had before. Shifted underneath all of these EMAs. But in reality, I do believe that price should once again have that push to the upside. I mean, realistically, what can you change about your analysis when you still have, your time frames are still all in place? We have two bullish time frames. Realistically, we have our higher high. Now we're just waiting for that higher low to be created. And it seems like that higher low is the issue on most of these pairs here. Next is NZD CAD. NZD CAD actually looks a little bit nicer than NZD USD. NZD CAD weekly time frame had a pullback. It is currently bearish. So we're bearish on the weekly. Daily time frame is currently bearish, and 4-hour time frame is also currently bearish. So you have 3 time frames in sync. Price has pushed up, pulled back underneath the EMA. It has retested the EMA to potentially continue to sell. We drew out this trend line yesterday. Price has maintained price action underneath this EMA on the 1-hour time frame, underneath the trend line. At this point, you're mostly just looking for lower time frame confirmations. One of the biggest things I would probably look for is the ability for price to break through this area. The ability for price to break through this area right here. So you have a lot of resistance at this point in the market, where people think that price is too expensive, and here people think that price is too cheap. So if we can properly break through this area, then I don't see why the market would return up to here. I think it would just continue to the downside. Next is AUD USD. This one actually had the full move that I was anticipating. Surprisingly, AUD USD out of all pairs had that happen. Now, we're still above this weekly EMA, and that's why price is struggling so much. Daily time frame had a nice bearish candle. What we might be seeing now is our daily pullback candle. Once again, that daily pullback candle, just like we saw one right here, bearish engulfing, pullback candle, continuation. Now, what do you notice about this pullback that happened back here? Well, the next candle had a huge wick to the upside, basically retesting the entire area where they sold from in the first place. So could that be a possibility? Yeah, I do think that could be a possibility there, where we fully retest this entire area right here and then continue to sell. This is not a trade that I took, but this is a trade that I sent to you guys. It basically reached your initial profit target, which was daily structure, but you could also just aim for a 1 to 2, and you would have gotten your 1 to 2 pretty easily there. As of right now, you're just waiting for that pullback to continue to sell. Nothing more you can do. GBP USD. This is one that has been lagging behind a little bit, lagging behind the other USD pairs. Now, as of right now, it's a little bit ahead of the other USD pairs, considering the fact that USD. These ones have all had a strong pullback, whereas this one is actually having that continuation happen. Now, in terms of market structure, we currently have a head and shoulders right here, head, shoulder, and we haven't really broken through this neckline or through this area of interest. So a good break and retest would probably be in order, such as right here, break, retest to continue to sell. Daily time frame. Looks like we could be setting up with a double top or a head and shoulders pattern, depending on how price action decides to play out. If we close in this area right here, there's a good chance we'll get a reaction, either 1 candle or 2 candles to the upside, and then we'll continue to sell. But yeah, we'll continue to watch this one. I do like the way it's moving. I think we should be all right to take a trade at some point this week. Whether that's today, tomorrow, Thursday, I don't know yet. All right, let's move on. Weekly time frame on GBP NZD. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is bearish. We're still kind of moving pretty sloppy here on the 4-hour time frame. There's not much to see, not much to trade, in my opinion. We could be maybe seeing a head and shoulders pattern forming right here. Head, shoulder, shoulder, and then we might have a continuation to the upside, but I have no clue. And quite frankly, I don't really care either. Euro USD. Euro USD bearish on the daily time frame, bullish on the weekly time frame, and 4-hour time frame is pulling back into this EMA. 4-hour time frame is bullish, so realistically, I would like to see a proper shift break and retest to sell. And if we're going to be buying, I want to see a proper reaction here. A proper break and retest above the 1-hour time frame. You can see how strong the 1-hour time frame is here. If we can get a proper break, retest, then we'll consider taking buys. But other than that, we're just going to continue to wait because we're pretty close to the 4-hour structure. And all it would take is us shifting bearish on the 4-hour time frame. And all of a sudden, we have 2 bearish time frames in sync to sell with the other USD pairs. Euro AUD. Euro AUD. Daily time frame, bearish. Seems like we had a very aggressive retest of this daily structure point. 4-hour time frame is bullish. So daily bearish, 4-hour bullish, weekly bullish. At this point, market would probably continue to go bullish, but I would prefer to see the daily shift bullish, then retest, then buy. Unless you want to trade the 4-hour time frame, which is totally fine, but that's up to you. I'm not interested in this one. I mean, realistically, you could have entered this trade in June and still been at break even, you know? Same thing here. I mean, we, since September, haven't gone anywhere. Unless you like scalping, and then you're loving life. But not my favorite thing to see. Weekly time frame, bullish. Daily time frame, bearish, and 4-hour time frame is also bearish. So there you have it. 2 time frames to sell, but it is not my cup of tea. Now, if we do, for some reason, get a break and retest underneath the daily EMA, then I would consider taking sells because at that point, the market has more or less decided which direction it wants to go. And I would believe that there's going to be a continuation. If not, then we're going to have another reaction and we're going to continue to trade sideways or then upwards. GJ. Now, not sure where I read, but I was reading and maybe it was a video that I watched, but it talked about Japan releasing a like $100 trillion, oh, 100 trillion, $100 billion stimulus package. So I wonder when that's going to happen and if it happens, how it's going to react or how it's going to affect the markets. It's going to, well, I know how it's going to affect the markets. Fundamentally, it's going to weaken the Japanese yen. And then it'll strengthen it ultimately in the future. So weekly time frame is bullish, daily time frame still bullish. We're on our way to reach this structure point up here. Like we're pretty close, and that would be your main take profit for this pair. Not interested, not interested, not interested. Nope. No, thank you. I mean, on this one, like say we're continuing to make higher highs, it's not in the best place, but I could see how this could be the pullback, and then you have your continuation following, retest the EMA and push higher. If that's something you like to see, then that's something that you can take. Personally, I'm not going to be taking that trade. Yeah. All right. Next we have NZD-JPY, still trading sideways, not interested. Euro-NZD, still pulling back into these previous structures. However, we are kind of moving sideways and also not really, there's no area of interest. There's nothing good for us to trade, so not interested. GBP-AUD has pulled back into this previous structure area of interest. From here, you might see some selling now that we've made it back to that area of interest, retested weekly EMA, retested daily EMA, and shifted past some of these lower time frame EMAs as well. Ideally, I would like to see something like this, where we've broken below, retested EMA, and then sold. In a perfect world, that's what I would like to see. Then you have your shoulder, head, shoulder, and then you enter somewhere right here on the retest of the neckline. And then this one would give you quite a bit of a move to the downside. I think that we could be in a situation like this, and then we could have quite a lot of room to trade in the opposite direction. So for us, it would be to the downside. I would like to keep an eye on this one. I don't think that I'm going to trade it, but this would be break, retest to sell. All right, Euro NZD. Did we already go over this one? Yes, we did. AUD CHF. AUD CHF weekly time frame. Weekly time frame is bearish. Daily time frame is bearish, and 4-hour time frame is bearish. Or is it? Yeah, it's bearish. So you have 3 time frames in sync currently. However, we did reach our main profit target, which would have been this daily structure right here. And therefore, I do believe that we're still waiting on that full retest, that full pullback to happen. Same thing with most of these CHF pairs. Like we're still waiting on that pullback, waiting on that pullback. Same thing here. Like we haven't finished the pullback on any of those pairs. So nothing we can do about them. After that, we have Euro GBP at the higher high. This is going to be similar to Euro NZD, where you could buy, but you're buying into nothing, basically. I suppose you could target like structures in this area, like way, way, way to the left of price action. And that's technically valid. And I think that's what we have been doing. Like you can target that high, then you can target this high next, and then that would be your future profit target for price action. But yeah, there's no daily area of interest, so I'm not interested in trading. AUD, NZD. Now we are pulling back into this structure point or into this previous structure, still waiting on that to happen. So we're not interested. Still a daily pullback. So we're left with basically the same list once again. And most of these are moving a little funny right now. But in reality, everything is still the way it needs to be on the lower time frame, which is the 4-hour time frame. We're just creating structure, I believe, and should have the bearish continuation at any point now. Now we have 30 minutes for USD, or for the 30, we have 30 minutes for the 4-hour candle to close. And once that closes, we'll have a better idea of if price action is shifting or if it's staying the same, right? So for example on USD CAD, right? For example, on USD CAD, if price closes down here, which it's gonna close down here, then we'll have shifted bearish on the 4-hour time frame, okay? And we'll have a 4-hour time frame that is bearish, a daily time frame that is bullish, and a bearish engulfing candle on the daily time frame. So in order for us to be interested in this trade again, we would have to basically wait for price to shift back above the EMA and start trading back above that area. Basically above the neckline of the previous structure point. So let's go ahead and order these by what we believe is going to happen first. Here we need a 4-hour break and retest. Here, same thing, 4-hour break, retest to sell, 4-hour pullback, 4-hour break, retest to sell. GBP CAD. At this point, I'd like to see a 4-hour break and retest because we could be creating an inverted head and shoulders right here. Euro CAD. Potentially trading above this area of interest, creating a double bottom off of the EMA, and then having a continuation from that area. So that's probably what I would wait for at this point, another break and retest from this one. At the very minimum, a break and retest above the 30-minute EMA. Like that's the very minimum I'd wait for. And then if I still don't like it, then I'd wait for the 4-hour break and retest above the area of interest. USD CAD, same thing. Basically, proper reaction to the upside from these previous structures, signifying that we're done selling, pullback to buy. In fact, here it seems like we might be creating a head and shoulders pattern, head, shoulder, head to sell. And if that's the case, then we're going to have to stay out of USD CAD. AUD USD is the only one that's kind of like a pullback to sell. Everything else is a break and retest to sell. And then NZD USD, we basically just need the sellers to chill, or the buyers to chill out and let price action trade in our direction, you know? Now, do you guys have any questions? Ten pips away from getting wicked out on NZD USD. Where's your stop loss? Inside of this area of interest. Yeah, I mean, there's opportunity to re-enter and things like that, so you should be all right. Now for your question, is Forex Factory working? Seems like it's not. Is that the message you're getting? Closed slight loss on USD CAD, hopes of re-entering, but didn't have a shift the structure on the 4 hour. Didn't have a shift the structure on the 4 hour, but it looks like I saved myself a bit of a loss. Yeah. I agree. I agree. That was probably for the best. It is interesting to see. Okay. Well, NZD USD, what might you be doing? I guess that basically wraps everything up for today. And see you guys in the next video.